Welcome back, language enthusiasts. This is me, Daniel Goodson. I am the host of My Fluent podcast. I am an English learner from Switzerland who also learns French, Italian, and Spanish. In this episode, I want you to keep up to date what I am about to create. So, actually, right now, I am creating a new method. I will call it the Goodson method. So, recently I've asked myself if it is possible to learn or to improve in a language by recording yourself. Alright, before I show you my results or my response to that and to reveal my method, the Goodson method, I will show you some answers I got in the internet. So I asked on Quora, is it possible to learn a language by recording yourself? And I got the answer from a Chinese guy called Shang Lung. It probably won't help you with the basics, and you will want to look to an external source to show you how the language is supposed to sound. But it can certainly help you speak the language better if you already have some measure of fluency. When I was a debater in college, one of the most valuable exercises was to watch my own debate recordings to see which argument I was stumbling on, which phrases I was having trouble with, etc. This was more about sounding good. When you're giving an impromptu speech at 275 words per minute, but slow it down, and it can easily become a good accent reduction exercise. Wow, thank you on that. And I completely agree on that. We should look to an external source to show us how the language sounds. And I am creating such a list which consists of different language sources. And I will give you the list on the next episode. Let's get to the next answer from Tom. So, is it possible to learn a language by recording yourself? Of course, recording yourself is definitely a great tool to have in your language learning toolbox. Maybe your question was, is it possible to learn a language just by recording yourself? In that case, it's no. If used correctly, recording yourself is a powerful tool for finding out your weak points in your language skills. This especially applies when you are trying to figure out what sounds you still struggle with, as well as noticing intonation differences between you and the native speaker saying the same phrase. Of course, I meant a native speaker, not a narrative speaker. I should also point out that this can and should be one of your first tasks in your language mission. I got different other responses to my question, which I won't read out loud to you, but I think that out there, not that many people are using the recording method. And I could imagine that, yeah, of course, it's really strange to speak to a microphone, so to speak to yourself, and then on top of that, re-listen to yourself. That can be awful, horrible. But I can promise you that you get kind of used to it, to listen to yourself, because it's a good way to spot or detect different mistakes which you can then tackle on. Or in my opinion, it would be a great idea to make kind of a competition between a few language friends. I mean, you could do an anecdote competition and then vote for the best recording. As a result, this will boost everyone's motivation, I guess. I mean, there are always different ways to get to your goal. Let's see my example with my Fluent podcast, which I started back in April 2016. And I can remember that on my very first episodes, let's say the first 10 episodes, I couldn't record without reading the script. I mean, I had to write down a script, and on my very first episodes, I had to write down every single word, and I had to check grammar and sentence structure in the internet. And nowadays I can talk freely, even if I make mistakes, of course, but that's normal, I think. So let's wrap up this episode. So I'm trying to investigate the possibilities of recording yourself to get you fluent in any language. And for that, I asked different people and I got different answers. So, the first and foremost, yes, it helps you to learn a language by recording yourself, but you need other resources that are going to support you by your learning journey. This could, for example, be different dictionaries on the internet, or this could be, for example, the website called Forfo, where you can search for the correct pronunciation. And I will set up a list with these resources and I will show it in the next episode. You could, for instance, record yourself a short audio message and then send it to a native speaker, and then he could give it back to you with corrections. So as you can see, possibilities are endless. And I try to structure this and create the Goodson method and explain it to you in the following episodes. I hope you could enjoy my rambling episode. I'm your host, Daniel Goodson. Have a good one. And before I finish up here, dear listener, please be aware that this is kind of an experimental episode again. And to be more precise, this will become kind of a series about the topic recording yourself to improve in your target language. So if you have any suggestions or tips and tricks, you can reach me under the email address myfluentpodcast@gmail.com. Have a visit at my website called myfluentpodcast.com. And now, bye.